Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet these really cute red and white earrings. They're very beginner friendly and easy to make, and in this video I'll show you how to make the small flower and the big flower and how to attach the earring pins. For this design you're going to need the following: a crochet hook, and I'm using a 2.75mm crochet hook, crochet needle. For this tutorial I'll be using an acrylic yarn, red and white yarn. In addition, you're going to need scissors, and for making the earrings you're going to need earring pins. Those are the bags I'm using, but you could use different kinds of bags. And also you need glue, and this one works really well for me. It's very strong and waterproof. Alright, let's begin. So let's start by making the bigger flower. For that, you're going to do a slip knot, and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. If you're not familiar with some of these stitches that I'm going to use, and I'll be using puff stitch, chains, and some double crochets, check out my playlist called Learning the Basics. I'll leave a link below. It shows in slow motion all the different type of stitches, and then you can come back to this tutorial. So I made 3 chains, and then from here I'm going to do a double crochet. Yarn over, insert the hook into that first chain that I made, yarn over, pull through. Now you have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 more. So that's your double crochet, and then I'm going to do 1 chain here, and now we'll work 7 single crochets inside this ring that we just formed. So if you take a look closely, we have a small ring, so we are going to do 7 single crochets inside this ring. For that, insert the hook in the ring, grab the yarn, pull through. You have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both, so that's 1 single crochet. Let's make 7 of those. 2, 3, 4. So I have this tail end over here. What I'm going to do is crochet it in. So I will do the following: insert the hook, make sure that the tail end is on top of the hook, grab the yarn, pull through, and that's my 5th single crochet. Same thing again. 6 and 1 more. 7. Now we're going to connect with the first, so I will insert the hook in that first stitch, grab the yarn, and do a slip stitch there. And here's our first round completed. From here we're going to make 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do a puff stitch in this first stitch right here. To make a puff stitch, you're going to do yarn over, insert the hook into that first stitch, grab the yarn, pull through, and pull it as tall as the chain 4. Now we're going to repeat that 4 more times, so 5 in total. Yarn over. You can hold on to these stitches with your fingers so they don't slip out, and maintain the height. Insert the hook into the same exact stitch, pull another one. Okay, 3, 4, and 5. So right now we should have a total of 11 loops on the hook if you count them. From here we're going to do yarn over and pull through 10 of them. And now you have 2 loops on this hook left. Yarn over, pull through both. We're going to make 4 chains next. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do a slip stitch inside that same space where you did the puff stitch. All right, there is a slip stitch. So that's our first petal. What we're going to do next is slip stitch into the next space. So right here, this is my next space. I'll grab the yarn, pull it through, and make a slip stitch. From here again, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again puff stitch into that same space. So if you look closely, this is where I did the chain 4 and the slip stitch. That's where I'm going to do the puff stitch. So yarn over, hook in the same space, grab and pull through the same tall loop. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4. One more time, 5, and now we're going to do yarn over and pull through the first 10 until I have 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, and let's do 4 chains, and then slip stitch into that same space where we did the puff stitch. So here's 2 petals. Let's continue. Slip stitch into that next space, 4 chains, and then a puff stitch into the same space. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yarn over, pull through 10 of them until you have 2 loops left on the hook. Yarn over, pull through both loops. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And slip stitch into the same space. So now we have our third petal. Let's continue with the next space. Slip stitch, chain 4, yarn over, pull out a tall loop, yarn over, do that 4 more times. 3, 4, 5. Pull through 10 and then pull through the last 2, chain 4, and then slip stitch into the same space. Now if I'm going too fast, feel free to slow this video down or speed it up if you feel like some of these are too basic for you. All right, let's continue. Slip stitch and start the next petal. 4 chains, 3, 4, and now puff stitch. Yarn over, insert the hook into the same space and pull a tall loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yarn over, pull through 10, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's do a slip stitch into the same space. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so we have 2 more petals left to finish off the flower. Chain 4, puff stitch, Here is the last space for my last petal. Slip stitch, chain 4, pull some of this yarn over, pull through a tall loop, 2, 3, 4, and 5, yarn over, pull through 10, yarn over, pull through the last 2, chain 4, and then slip stitch. And then lastly, I'll just connect to that first stitch with one more slip stitch, and there is my flower. Cut this yarn. And that's what it looks like. So that's the bottom of my earrings. And now I'm going to make the top. It's a very similar pattern to this with a small change so I can make it smaller. Let's grab the white yarn. Now instead of starting with a slip knot, this time I'm going to make a magic ring, because I actually want this circle to be smaller. So magic ring, and I'm going to do 7 single crochets into the magic ring. So insert that hook into the ring, grab the yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 single crochets. You can tighten the magic ring by pulling on the tail end and then slip knot into that first. I know it's a little bit hard to see with the white yarn, oops, but this is my first stitch, so that's where I'm going to do a slip stitch. Okay, so here's my magic ring that I tightened by pulling on the tail end, and from here I'm going to begin the petals. In the case of the big flower, I did 4 chains, and then I did a puff stitch by pulling out 5 loops from each of the 7 stitches. What I'm going to do now is chain 2 instead, and then I will do yarn over again, insert the hook into that same first chain, grab the yarn and pull out a tall loop just like before, but I'm only going to do that 3 times. So that was 1, 2, 3, and just like before, yarn over, pull through all of the tall loops until I have only 2 left, yarn over, pull through both, and then chain 2, and then slip stitch into that same space. Same thing as before, slip stitch into the next space. From here, chain 2, yarn over, insert the hook into the same space, pull out 1, 2, 3 tall loops as tall as the chain 2, yarn over, pull through until I only have 2 loops left on the hook, yarn over, pull through both, and then again chain 2, slip stitch into this same space. So I'm going to do that all the way around and make 7 white petals. For this part I will speed it up because the pattern repeats, and then I will see you when we finish the 7 petals. Alright, so I finished the white flower as well. So if we take a look, I made the white one slightly smaller than the red one, and what I'm going to do next is attach the two together by using these loose tail ends, and I'm simply going to sew them in. Just thread the yarn into the yarn needle, and then what's going to happen, what you can do first is hide these if they're on your way. I'm gonna do that later this time, but usually I like to hide them because they could annoy me a bit. So here is my flower petal. What I'm going to do is align the two so they're slightly overlapping, but I still want to show that middle part of the red flower, and I'll just pass the yarn through the white and through the red to the other side. And then back into the white, and back through the red. Just keep it simple. Now what you can also do is tie both tail ends of the white flower together. You don't have to make them too tight. And one more time, and then hide them in the back of the flower just by passing the yarn needle through a few of the petals. Thread the yarn just as so. You can do both at the same time if you prefer. And then just slide it out. You can do that a couple of times if you would like to. And then cut these excess tail ends. And then let's do the same exact thing with the red tail ends. Okay, there we go. Now we have the earring. You can just move these petals around if You want them to stand out and look more puffy, just like that. The last thing we want to do is attach the earring pins to the back of the flower. So we are going to place a small amount of this glue on the pin. I just try to make a nice big blob right in the middle, and then find the top petal, make it as flat as you can, and then attach the earring to it. Now the recommended drying time from the manufacturer is 24 hours, dependent on temperature, humidity, and surface. I like to hold it together for about a minute just to kind of really get good contact between the pin and the yarn. And that's all really. As you can see, they're super cute and very, very puffy and very soft and very with lightweight. Unlike a lot of big earrings, your ears start hurting by the end of the day. Wearing yarn crochet earrings is so much easier. Now here's another thing that I made with those same flowers. A keychain, white, red and green keychain, and it's the colors of the Bulgarian flag. It's very cute. Same exact design of the flower as the top. However, I made a few chains in order to attach it to a keychain. I hope you enjoyed this flower tutorial. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.